Folks, it's Ron Barr. He's here in Austin, Texas for this game between the 1981 Texas football team, notice I didn't say Longhorns, and the 1992 Kansas football team, notice I didn't say Jayhawks, because this is Bill Walsh college football for the Sega Genesis, a game where nobody had any rights to any team names, any conference names, any player names of the sort. It's basically region name and then the colors that are generally the same as the college located there. In this case, it's the burnt orange and white of the Texas Longhorns and the blue and white of the Kansas Jayhawks. Number 2 for the Jayhawks takes the first punt off of the Longhorns' first failed drive, and he takes it all the way back to the house, 87 yards for the touchdown, breaking the tackle of the punter there, 89 yards rather, for the touchdown to put the Hawks up 7-0 in the first quarter over a national championship winning Texas team. This game is based in 1992, and so only the best teams from the 92 season got in, and some of the best teams from history got in. And interestingly enough, there is no other current Big 12 team, at least, represented in this game. The teams from the Big 8 that are represented in this game are Kansas, Nebraska, and Colorado. And the Southwest Conference teams that are represented in this game, I think, are just Texas A&M. And 4 of those schools were at one point in the Big 12, but 3 of them left, leaving the Jayhawks the only one standing from that year. Now, the Oklahoma has a classic team, and Texas has a classic team as well. And you can play as both of those to your heart's content, which is what I had to do in order to represent the Longhorns in this series, because this is the only instance where I get to play Bill Walsh college football on this series. And I really like Bill Walsh college football, even though it's got a couple of problems, such as this one here, where the pass defense is a little bit tough to do right when you are playing defense. You either end up getting called for pass interference, or you leave a guy wide open. It's really tough to properly defend in this game, which is unfortunate because the run offense, the pass offense, the run defense, it's all pretty good, even though it's tough to actually make a tackle. There's enough give and pull on both sides where it can make for kind of a wacky game, but always a fun game regardless of your circumstance. So Texas takes a 14-7 lead off of a Kansas turnover. This is kind of the way that you expect it to be, in the Jayhawk offense not really going anywhere. We get sacked and lose 14 yards there on that play. The Horns moving down the field. They're trying to score, trying to make it a 2-touchdown game, but we get the interception there, so Hawks are still in it at the very least if we didn't, immediately give it back to them. I just foreshadowed something that's about to happen. Don't worry about what's about to happen. It's an interception. We get intercepted before the second quarter can end. So we go to half down by 7. Closer than I thought it would be, actually. Generally when you're an Aloha Bowl winning 1992 football team taking on a national champion, that tends to be a little bit of a score differential there. But you know what? The Hawks are moving. We got a fun option-based offense. This is a Glenn Mason team. Glenn was the first guy really to turn KU around in the late 80s. A lot of people forget about his time with the Jayhawks because the Mangino era did reach a little bit higher of a height. So the phrases are bring back Mangino, we want to bring back that great Mangino era, and not so much the Mason era, which gets a little bit forgotten, unfortunately, even though it does give us plays like this where the punt returner gets another 50-yard return there. This one, unfortunately, not for a touchdown. I couldn't get past the punter. I was kind of trying to cut him inside on the block there, and it just did not end up working out. So we go on the right side here on a short little shovel pass. Well, not so much a shovel pass, it was a forward pass on the fumble there, and then the quarterback here running what we like to call the Walsh option, which I'll cut to me in a lab coat to explain the Walsh option to you right now. What we have here is a classic example of the Walsh option utilized in Bill Walsh college football from 1992 on the Sega Genesis. This play makes exploitation of the momentum system used in the game a perfect example of Isaac Newton's first law of motion in effect. Momentum in these games was so difficult to build up. You would give it to a player, they would kind of walk for a few seconds before actually taking off. So the Walsh option, what happens is that the running back, who generally is going to be faster than your quarterback, will actually outrun the quarterback on his route, and the quarterback will be forced to pitch effectively a forward pass to a running back already in motion, who will already have all of his speed built up, thus allowing him to have more speed than the defense chasing him, who has to turn and in fact chase him. So that gives him a speed boost over the rest of the defense and most of the offense as well. It is evident of the pop pass that you see in so much modern football these days. You could potentially trace that back to its roots in the Walsh option. Anyway, Texas gets the ball back and they start trying to move, but the ball is jarred out by number 22 of the Jayhawk defense, and we get the ball back and we're heading downfield. The fullback, number 33, making some moves, breaking tackles, spinning around all the way up to the 3-yard line there, and number 18, the quarterback, can only get 1 yard. That's a guy named Chip Hillary. He was a pretty solid player. They invited that whole team back out to the field, actually, last Saturday for the Baylor game, a game that KU lost, unfortunately, but it was kind of cool. They played a highlight video of the 92 Aloha Bowl. They had the whole team out there. One of the defensive linemen, a guy named Gilbert Brown, got his name enshrined in the Ring of Honor. They put his name up there next to all the other KU greats, and he was a great player. So played in the NFL for like 10 seasons, something crazy like that. Really great guy, and yeah, they had that whole team out there. They were playing the highlights video. Bob Davis, the radio announcer, was going crazy as we get another touchdown here on a punt return, just zigging and zagging all throughout that Texas defense or Texas special teams, whatever. I don't know if it's the Texas special teams or it's just my guy number 2 there, but he puts the Hawks up by 2 touchdowns late in the game in the 4th quarter. But this is the defense, the pass interference, the pass defense rears its ugly head once again, as I can't get a stop there without also interfering. That happens again here. So 2 straight PIs in a row. The hashtag all PI offense being run, the Jane Coaston offense, if you will. The first down there from Texas, and there it's just moving. They're playing a lot out of the shotgun for a team from 1981. That's a little, I think, unrealistic. And then they score, as the Fred Akers teams normally do, just dropping it, chucking it down the field. The run and shoot, the classic Texas Longhorns offense. That's sarcasm right there if you can't depict that. But number 26 breaks a tackle and gets to the outside there. As I said in last week's video, if you're going to run in this game, you want to run diagonally. That's how you want to do it, and that's how you get the yards. But here we can't pick up the first down, and so we pinball around there for a little bit. It's actually kind of tough to tackle a runner really with success in this game, but it is easy to tackle a runner if they're the punter and I forget to collect the ball on the snap. And you end up with a lost punt there. So that was a significant issue, as we've seen. The Longhorns have no trouble moving the ball, and they throw to the end zone here, incomplete on 2nd down. But on 3rd down, the quarterback finds his man over the middle, the running back, like in the middle of a scrum, like looking like rugby there. But he gets into the end zone to cut the score to 1. But it is 1992, which means there's no overtime, which means if you want to win, you gotta go for 2. And they don't get it. So that's really all we needed to do, was stop 1 2-point conversion, and we won the game, because the pre-overtime era in college football was crazy. You just would end the game on a tie sometimes, and sometimes you end the game on a 1-point win that you're not quite sure how you got it, but that's how it goes. Whenever you're KU and you beat Texas, it's a cause for celebration, as it was last year. Don't think it'll be repeated this weekend, because I think Texas is much better than a very, very, very bad KU team that couldn't even score 10 points on Baylor last week, a team that has had up to that point not won a single game yet that season. Leave it to Jayhawks to give that win to the Bears there. Baylor fans, congratulations on on taking the 1 win from the Jayhawks. Unfortunately, that's how it goes, though. I'm probably not going to watch the game at all this weekend, actually. I'm just going to kind of see how it goes, see if, the 45-0 scoreline that inevitably is going to come out of it. I'll see you guys next week, though. Thanks so much for watching, and as far as I know, that's all.